Okay, so is it evident for everyone? So the presentation is clear?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So my talk today is about women empowerment in developing countries, the challenges and opportunities. And why did I choose this topic? Because of all the initiatives that I'm involved in, the women empowerment remains to be my best one and my most preferred one. And then coming from a developing country like Egypt, I want to share the challenges that I have faced, the opportunities that are now present for the women so that they can be empowered in the society and in science in particular. So first, regarding my research, I do research in the field of drug delivery and nanotechnology. And in this sense, I have obtained several awards. And I'm also a peer reviewer in like 84 international scientific journals, including those published by Nature and Cell Press. And I've also have like this large collaboration international network with several funding bodies. So he says, oh my God, she's an academic freak. But then I also enjoy teaching, and I really love my students everywhere in the world. So I have been teaching at the Faculty of Pharmacy, Ain Shams University in Egypt, and this is a picture of me with my students. I've also been teaching for 2 years at the Faculty of Pharmacy in Jordan, in Utah University, and I also love my students over there. I've also taught a short course on precision medicine at the European Forum Alpbach, and this is a picture with my international students in Austria. And a favorite picture of mine, which is a picture with my students in India when I was giving a lecture for a conference at Ain Shams University. So I just enjoy teaching and I love students everywhere. So it's part of what I do in life. I do research and I also teach, and I really interact and take pride in my students everywhere. And then I'm also involved in several international organizations. One of them is AGIA, the Arab German Young Academy of Sciences and Humanities. The other one is the Global Young Academy, and I really appreciate this picture for the Women in Science group, which I'll be talking. The health of the people and the society. So this is really, really a wonderful thing to be doing. And in doing your research and enjoying that, you would also be solving societal problems, because if you can increase the compliance of the patient to the therapy, and you can decrease the treatment costs with what you are doing, and you can achieve like but then I faced many challenges, and these challenges are not just personal challenges. You can find them in like most of the developing countries. So the first challenge that I see is the balance between work and life, because always the woman has like much more responsibilities than the man, because she has to do like lots of tasks. If she's married, she has to take care of the children, she has to take care of the house, the husband, and everything. And even if she's not married, the woman is always perceived as a caregiver or care provider. So she's taking care of her family, taking care of her friends, the people in the network around her. So sometimes it's very challenging to balance between work and life. And in this sense, some women just give up. You know, they say, okay, I'm not going to work because I cannot balance everything. So this is actually a challenge, because many things are asked of a woman, especially in developing countries. So sometimes she has to give up her work in order to balance other responsibilities. Another challenge, which is really, really very important, is that some women, they don't really know that they have it in themselves. And let me give you like a personal experience. I was attending this Africa Science Leadership Program, and then the organizer of this program, Professor Bernard Slippers, he said when he was lecturing us in this program, he was saying, you know, you are all here because you are science leaders. But then it really struck me, am I really a science leader? I actually didn't realize that I was a science leader until I attended this program. I thought, okay, this program is wonderful and it gives you skills and it adds to your experiences. But I didn't realize that I was a science leader. And then it made me think, well, okay, if I'm a science leader, so how should I act right now? So what should I do in order to be worthy of the term science leader? So after that, I tried to pay everything forward and I tried to motivate more women to join STEM and to share my experiences, because I thought, okay, so I had many responsibilities now because I'm a leader now in science. So I have to convey my experiences and benefit everyone around me. So you see, even myself, I didn't know that I had this strength, or I didn't know that I had this trait. So some women, they don't really know their inner strength. And this is actually a very major challenge that they have to work on. Another thing, which is also another important challenge, is the lack of the supportive environment. If you like interviewed or asked many of the successful women in the developing countries and you ask them what is the key to your success, they should mention a supportive environment, supportive husbands, supportive parents, because if you yourself are ambitious and you have a will to do something, but then you don't have a supportive environment around you, this is going to destroy everything. So you should really surround yourself with supportive people and try to change the mindset of the people around you so that you can have the supportive environment. Another important challenge is the unfair work rules. And this is something that we see actually in the developing countries very often, because the women are always expected in some phases of their lives to have like sabbatical leaves or to have like some sorts of leaves from work, either paid or unpaid, to take care of the children. But then when it comes to the assessment, they always perceive the women as of less efficacy than their male colleagues just because they are having these sabbaticals or having this time off work. And this is really not fair, because if the woman has to take on these responsibilities, this is something that should be appreciated. And on the contrary, it's not appreciated. It is perceived as defect in the woman and that she is not giving enough to her work. So this is very unfair, and we are now trying to find laws in order to preserve these rights for women at work, so that they can have the responsibilities outside work, and at the same time they are not seen as less worthy than their male colleagues. Okay, then in the developing countries, what's actually missing, or what's actually present in a little amount, and that's why the women are suffering more. Many of the studies, they have surveyed the three major keys to the success of the women in developing countries and in countries in general. And they said that the most important three things are three C's. The first C is the cash. You should support the women with the funding opportunities so that she can have her initiatives and she can have her ideas translated into products, translated into work. She should have sufficient financial support. The second C is the culture. And by the culture here, I mean supportive culture which fosters the engagement of women in the society and the engagement of the women in several activities at work. So if you are having an accepting culture, this is the second C that should be fulfilled. The third C, and this is also very important, is the coaching. And I'll come to this coaching and mentoring at the end of my presentation as a very, very important motive for women to pursue careers in STEM and to empower themselves and to be empowered. So what I mean by coaching is that every woman should have like a role model or a mentor who is guiding her, or guiding her on what to do, on giving some professional advice and pushing her forward in her career. So the three C's are cash, culture, and coaching. These are three important things that should be available for the women to be empowered in the societies. Okay, so do we have like national initiatives for women? Yes, we do. And we have this Egyptian strategy for women empowerment, and it's actually stated in the Egyptian vision of 2030. So by 2030, the country is now seeking for more empowerment for the women, and the empowerment is taking like several forms, like for example, the political empowerment for women, so that more women would be involved in the political and would have political roles. There's also the social empowerment for women by increasing the women's freedom of choice and to achieve gender equity in the working environment. This is what I mentioned as a major challenge, and it's now being like mitigated in the current strategy. Also, there is legal empowerment for women now by putting like more protective laws for the women. And there's also economic empowerment by providing more funding initiatives for women. And we are also having this active National Women Council in Egypt who is supporting women to be at their best. So we do have a national initiative. And we have the role of academies, and the academies, either like national academies like the ASRT in Egypt, and also the international academies. So for example, let me give you a hint of an initiative which is funded by the Europe Aid, but then coordinated by the Academy of Scientific Research and Technology. And this initiative is called Women Up. So this Women Up initiative is fostering the women participation in the local development. So the women are now part of the society and they should participate in the local development. So they are trying to fund the female startups and micro businesses, and especially the women in the household. If she has like an idea for a micro business or a startup, then they are going to fund this initiative and support that. And in order to give you some concrete examples about this Women Up initiative, they have now funded like projects which are applied by women related to founding online teaching platforms, medical counseling platforms, using recyclable materials for sustainable development, using like waste of the fruits and vegetables to provide like fibers and artwork. So whatever idea which is applicable by the women, it's now being incubated and taken by this initiative. And we are really proud of this initiative, and many wonderful projects have came out of this initiative. We also have an initiative of the AGIA, the Arab German Young Academy, for women empowerment precisely in agriculture. So after surveying that there are many challenges facing women in agriculture, the Arab German Young Academy of Sciences and Humanities, they just opened like the lines of exchange between the women in agriculture in the Arab world and in other regions. So in this sense, the AGIA has organized an interdisciplinary conference on women empowerment in agriculture. And this conference brought about women who are engaged in agriculture in the Arab world, either like farmers, researchers, engineers, entrepreneurs, and policymakers. And then they had this knowledge exchange and networking with people from Germany and other countries from the global south, like Benin, Kenya, Nepal, and Kazakhstan. And I left the link here if you want to know more information, and then more detailed report on the success stories of these women are being to be published soon. We are also proud of the GYA initiative, the Women in Science Group, which I share which I do some tasks with this group, and also with in cooperation with Shalini. This working group, it actually aims to have the voice of the women scientists heard so that they can reach policy makers and decision makers for better future of the female scientists. And I really believe that this group is doing such a great work, and it's like being followed by several people from several countries, several women, because they see the women of the GYA as role models, and they seek our advice like for mentoring, and they send us emails for like to have professional advice. So I really believe that the Women in Science group is really doing such great work. And it believes actually in the global contribution of women, so that we are creating a platform where the challenges and the possible solutions are tackled for the capacity building of the group members, and also the females who are not group members but also interested in this group. So we do have like, we are doing such wonderful job in this group, and I'm really proud to be part of this group. And I left also the website link if you want to know more information about this group and its activities. Another initiative of another academy is the African Academy of Science, and they have launched a mentoring platform. This mentoring platform is not just for women, it's also for men. But this mentoring platform is really serving well the female scientists in their careers. And this mentorship scheme is connecting the African early career researchers with mentors. And these mentors are experienced professionals from the industry, from academia, they are policymakers as well, so that they are guiding the mentors throughout their career, and they allow to create this new generation of science leaders in Africa. So this is a wonderful platform which is developed by the African Academy of Sciences, and I also left the website if you want to know more information about this mentoring program. So as we see, it's not just national initiatives of the country. We have national academies which are participating to women empowerment, and we also have international academies like the GYA, the AGIA, and the African Academy of Science as well. But then, how to attract more women in scientific careers? We have like personal initiatives, and the most famous one that we do have is developed by the GYA alumna, Professor Dr. Amal Amin from Egypt, who is the founder of the International Women in Science Without Borders. She thought of developing like a series of conferences. We had this conference in Brazil this year, and it was preceded by 2 others in Egypt and 1 in South Africa, which is an initiative to increase the cooperation between female and male scientists on the basis of scientific excellence. And also the participants, they are not just women scientists, they are also like undergraduate students who are participating, and this really positively influences the women in science, more women to pursue careers in STEM. And this is a wonderful initiative that we are proud of. And I also left the Facebook group because it's very dynamic and sends posts like on a daily basis or frequent basis. So if you want to know more information about the movement, you can visit the Facebook page. Okay, then I have an advice for every woman who wants to be a leader. You should have like 10 important traits. The first one, you should have a vision. You should have a vision of what you are now and what you want to be in the future. You know, like when the HR asks you, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? This is a really important question that we should be asking ourselves. Where are we seeing ourselves in like after a year, after 5 years, after 10 years? What do I envision myself to be doing in the future? And what do I want my future to look like? And how do I want to influence people around me? So having a vision is very important. Also having a decision-making ability, because if someone is taking the decisions for you, then you are not going to have control of your life. So you should have a decision-making ability to have decisions quickly and to be responsible for these decisions. And trust me, even if you take like a wrong decision now, you are going to learn from it, and it's going to add to your personality and your experiences. So never be afraid to take decisions. Also, the ambition is very important. You should see yourself like the sky is your limit. You should have ambition, and you have like a vision of what you want to achieve, and you should strive to achieve what you want. So ambition is very important. Also, positivity and the positive vibes is very important, because all of us, we have problems and we have many challenges that we face. But if you face that with positive vibes and positivity, then you are going to conquer all the problems that you are facing. Also, self-confidence is very important. And let me here give you like this personal example. In 2010, it was my first time to travel alone, and it was to conduct research for 6 months in the UK. I have never traveled alone before, and it was such like, before I travel, I was afraid of traveling, what I'm going to encounter. I didn't have confidence in myself that I'm going to make it. But then after the plane landed in UK, and I found myself able to like face every situation that I have seen, and deal with the people and be independent. It really fostered my self-confidence, and it's really important. So please don't be afraid, and take steps and challenge yourself, and please get out of your comfort zone and have confidence in yourself that you are going to do it. Then you are going to do it, literally. Hard work is also important, because if you really have a dream that you want to achieve, then hard work is really important to be able to realize this dream. And then constant self-development. For example, I can claim that my personality has changed than last year, and than the year before that. So I'm constantly doing like self-development. I'm fostering certain skills, and I'm knowing what are the defects that I have, and I'm working on them, and I'm challenging myself, and I'm focusing on my strengths. So the constant self-development is very important. Also, another important advice and another important trait is that you should support yourself, you should surround yourself with a supportive environment, because we are all surrounded by those like toxic people and unsupportive people, even in the like in your circle or within your work. And if you do not surround yourself with supportive people, then you are going to lose a lot. So supportive environment is very important for a woman to strive and to be a leader and to be empowered. Also the persistence and never giving up, because we are always faced with problems, always faced with challenges. So if you are persistent enough and never giving up, then you are going to overcome everything. And then I would have to say time management. Like I'm actually a time management freak. So if, for example, I have here this note in which I have like, let me open the page, for example. I have this daily to-do lists that I have to fulfill every day. And I have this monthly to-do list, and then to-do list for a year. So by having this time management skill, I explore all the possibilities, and I have time to do everything. I have time for work, I have time for myself, I have time for my friends, I have time for my family. So time management is very important, because it can help you take advantage of every opportunity that you have, and it can help to foster the time management skill in you, and it really positively affects everything that you do, either in your work, either in your life. So this is really very important. Okay, so personally, how do I empower women in my organization? As I told you that I'm an academic who is doing teaching and doing research. So what are my strategies to empower the women in my organization, in my working environment, and even the organizations that I'm a member of? First thing is mentoring and more mentoring. Mentoring is very important, because from my experience and from what I realized is that a large number of women, they want to do like very important things, but they don't know where to start. So I like give them professional advice in their career. I let them be aware of the opportunities, several opportunities that they can have. And sometimes they are really lost. They don't know from where they can start. So I help to guide them in this regard. And we have like many successful stories of women who have pursued this career in STEM, and they are very successful now. And I'm really happy to be one of their mentors. Another important thing that I do in my organization is the support and encouragement, because as I always say, life is really hard enough. So if we can take like positive parts in each other's lives, if you can support someone and if you can encourage someone, this can really have a tremendous effect on his productivity, and it really positively affects his or her career at certain stage. So the support is very important. Try to be supportive for everyone around you and to encourage everyone around you so that they can achieve the best of themselves. Also, more awareness on opportunities. I realized that many of the people in my organization, they are not aware of the opportunities like funding opportunities, travel opportunities. So I always try to disseminate whatever I encounter from opportunities of funding, of travel, of exchanges in my social network, via emails, on the faculty website, so that they can have more visibility and more people are encouraged to do to take on these opportunities. Also, I'm trying to involve the students as early as possible. Now, during my undergraduate lectures, when I enter a lecture for my undergraduate students, I always keep a part of the lecture for the non-scientific content or the non-educational content. It's just for capacity building. I tell them, okay, so you are pharmacists, and I don't want you to limit yourself to the educational material that I'm giving you. You should explore further possibilities, trainings, internships, either national or international. You should really build your personality. And I try to give them some advice or skills. And you really don't realize how impactful it was, because you open it's like you open their minds to certain things that they haven't thought of before. They are always thinking of having the exams and having good grades, but then they are not thinking of the next step. So when you try to involve them as early as possible, this is really impactful, and you can really direct someone to have this like to achieve the best of himself or herself, and to embark on opportunities, and to add to his or her personality. So please involve them as early as possible, because this is very impactful. And then my last advice for every woman: you should first know yourself, know your strengths, know your defects, and then believe in yourself that you can do it. And try always to develop yourself and to be the best version of your personality and of yourself. And never limit your challenges. You just challenge your limits and strive for never-ending improvement. This is really very important. And I will end my presentation with a quote that I have mentioned in the next Einstein Forum. I was a panelist, and then they asked me during the panel, so what would be your message for the female scientists? So I said that even if there are challenges, women, just be patient. We are going to rule the world. So I hope that this can be achieved, and I really have this big faith and great faith in women and female scientists, and I know we can continue to empower each other, and then we can really achieve something, and someday we are really going to rule the world. Thank you so much. And if you want to further contact me, I would be happy to share more information, and I would be happy to be in contact with you after this presentation. This is my email and this is my Twitter account, and I'd really like to be in contact with you after this seminar, after this presentation. And also thank you, Shalini, for the wonderful opportunity. It has been like very great, and thank you so much.
Wow, thank you so much, Maha. What a wonderful presentation, and I really enjoyed, and our audiences from different continents have also enjoyed your presentation very much. You have very nicely presented, and you have built the confidence further through your presentation and sharing your own experiences and tips that are coming out of your own experiences. So thank you so much. And we have few questions from our audiences. One of the audiences, her name is Poonam, and she's asking that I'm facing a lot of challenges like work, home, etc., and trying to overcome them. Can you share some mantras or advice to follow to overcome all these challenges? This is a very, very common question, and we have been listening for past 2 days that women face this often, and they want to know how to manage both, because they have to manage home as well as outside world, and at the same time they are very ambitious. So please, Maha, guide us.
Okay, so my advice in this case is time management, time management, time management. So please just write everything that you have. Sometimes I write even the small task that I have to do, I write it in my notebook. And then I really believe that women are capable of multitasking. You always see women, she is holding her baby and then she is doing like cooking and she is watching television and she's reading something. So just believe in yourself that you can multitask and do several things at a time, and you will do it. At first it's going to be hard, but then if you write everything and try to manage your time, everything is going to be possible.
Wow, what a wonderful advice. And I just would like to quote here and support what you are saying. Recently during the lockdown, the Women in Science Working Group, where me and Rola Inglesi, who was also one of the speaker in this international series, we wrote statement, and the statement was nothing but what actually the women are facing during this lockdown, and that got published. And then we got recognition from various international organizations, including International Science Council. They put it on their website, and it was just whatever experiences we were facing in our day-to-day life due to lockdown, we just all the Women in Science Working Group member wrote down. So sometimes we think that this is very simple or may not be acceptable, but that makes a very big difference. So go for it, and that's all. So let me see what is other question. Dr. Maha, people across the different places are listening here. They are the audiences, and they are really appreciating your presentation, saying that your session is very good. You have motivated us, encouraged us, really, really positive, and thank you so much. There is one more question from our audiences, and the audience is asking that to achieve on international platforms some of the international fellowships, how do you what is your advice to grab some of the biggest international opportunities?
Yeah, I can share now in the chat link some of the very active groups for sharing scholarships, trainings, and it's open for international students, and they really have large number of followers. I'd be happy to share some of these websites and some of the Facebook pages, and they are really beneficial. So
Wow.
I would share them now in the chat box.
Yes, please share. It will be definitely helpful, because sometimes lack of knowledge and I believe that women has a lot of capacity, capability, ability. They are multitasking, as you said, and already women have been proving that. So only it's the matter of supporting each other. Please do share that links, and I'm sure all the audiences will stay in touch for both technical collaboration, for non-technical collaboration, for your support as a mentor, and many of would like to become your mentee. So I hope you will not mind, and you will continue addressing all of us. Thank you so much, Maha, once again for being here.
Thank you so much, Shalini, for the opportunity, and thank you every one of the audience and the distinguished speakers that we have. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Maha, and we go ahead with